Just me yucking it up in the background. So this intro, right, it has big red Namco there. Everything about this is I associate Soulcalibur, and specifically Soulcalibur on the Dreamcast, more with Maximilian and Yo video games than I do Namco or the actual Dreamcast. This, Soul Blade, the entire series. Look, it's just a crew of Yo video games, just right now. I guess I would be Max. No, Siegfried would be Max. Siegfried. Siegfried isn't even in this original version? Is he an unlockable character? I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a while. This is incredible just because it's an in-game graphics intro, which always felt really impressive. But you could do those types of things on the Dreamcast. There's lots of CGI cutscenes for sure, but there's something about seeing in-game models do their katas. Oh, he fell down. He's like, oh, SpaghettiOs. That's my Astaroth voice. There she is. Ivy got us through a lot of our prepubescent years. Taki too. Most Soulcalibur ladies. Some Soulcalibur men too, because Killick. Woo! Woo, fanning myself. Voldo for some people too. That's cool. I respect y'all. Not for me. You know, fuck Max. You know what? All Soulcalibur characters, even Lizard Man. Lizard Man gets people to where they need to go. Taki is super underrated. Like, Ivy and some other characters, like, sort of female characters, like, get the lion's share, but, like, Taki's there, too. Taki was always there for when you needed to change up, you know? There he is, Killick, the main character of Soulcalibur. Look, his weapon spins around. Look at those jobbers. He's the main character. He's the MC. You can't tell me otherwise. Yes, you can. Oh God, Inferno. If any of you out there say you remember Inferno, congratulations, you're liars. Ugh. That's so nostalgic. While we look at the demo for like 1 second, maybe more than a few seconds. Just, oh, this music. So while the sorry, I just, amazed looking at the graphics. While the Dreamcast version is obviously better than the arcade in every way, I have a bit more nostalgia for the arcade, because that's where I cut my teeth on Soul. There's so much that's new and flashy. You want to turn it down a little bit with the flashing Team Soul, Project Soul? There's so much. Let's just go to practice and press buttons. Baggage of history. These portraits are kind of really funky to look at nowadays. Obviously, there's a very, late 2000s, not late 2000s, late 90s look to them, obviously, because I'm in the late 90s. But let's stay Killick. Press some buttons. Let's go against... Ooh. Let's go against that Mitsurugi. I like that. Ooh, we can actually pick our stage. I don't know, actually. Fuck it, random. What are you gonna give us? What are you gonna give us, Soulcalibur? I'll go whatever stage you have. That's fine. So when I first saw Mitsurugi here, I thought it was like a crossover with Hawamaru from Soulcalibur. So that's my hit. That's my horizontal. That's my vertical. There's my block. There's my kick. That's Soulcalibur, folks. There's my 8-way run. It's so weird. It's like so many 3D fighters didn't really, to me, click and get it right until this. Just because 8-way running just feels so much better than just like running in the background, like doing your little dive in like Toshinden. Or even the dodge move, the dodge button in Virtua Fighter 3 or whatever. Just Soulcalibur just felt too good. They just knew what they were doing. Look at that, look at that. We're gonna throw this motherfucker. Just get down there. Throws in Soulcalibur were events. There were super moves for all intents and purposes. You're gonna see me doing that a lot. You'll see me doing a whole bunch. Unfortunately, I think we don't have, I think it was Soulcalibur 2 where they gave Killick his, like, crotch punish. Or I just forget the motion. It's not what I think it is right now. Maybe it's in there. I don't know. It's not. Maybe. No, that's just a low. Anyway, that's enough buttons. It's Soulcalibur. It's still sick to this day. Even the worst Soulcalibur games, Soulcalibur 5, even the worst ones, they're still great. But just look at the amount of options. You know, that's. Did the Dreamcast have maybe too many arcade ports? Yeah. And did some of them kind of were bare bones? Yeah. Soulcalibur was not bare bones at all. We're just going to play the arcade version of Soulcalibur today. I've said Soulcalibur, the stage of history. Guess what? We're taking Killick. He's my boy. Killick gets a job fucking done. It's Astaroth. In that fucking costume. I'm glad to be fighting some of the weirder, like, 2P costumes. I have very little memory about that one, actually. I want to get Power Bomb. Please Power Bomb me, Asto Daddy. But we can just get a KO like that whenever I want. Because I'm Killick, the Phoenix. I can't control it. Ah, such a cool pose. He has one other pose that maybe it's in Soulcalibur 2. I obviously spent a lot of time playing that as well. With the only version that mattered, the GameCube version. What are you gonna do? Come at me, Spawn fans? Nah, man. Nah, son. Spawn fans can't come at me, but Keith David fans can. So try to make it like interesting for everyone out there. Was I gonna get killed in that round? No. It was never a consideration. I like some stages in Soulcalibur just because they're impossible. How did we get up here? Were we helicoptered in? Ah! That was gonna be good. That was gonna be good. Sophinia's cries would be heard from all over the land. The breath too, when I saw people's breath, I think that was in the arcade original. That freaked me out. I was like, no, that's too realistic. There he is. I'm very glad Voldo's is where he is nowadays. Everyone's like, fuck yeah, Voldo. When I used to play this in the arcade, there was quite a bunch of characters in this Montreal arcade. Of course, it doesn't exist anymore. But there was like a guy in a cowboy hat. There was like all these old businessmen, these like gross like old men that like run business, and they would come on their lunch breaks. I come on my lunch break from high school as well, and you would see everyone's like little you would see who was doing well that day because when you came in, see who was playing. There was always a little bit of a line around Soulcalibur. And you would see the list of weapons that person had killed from everyone else that came up and tried to have a go. And you're just like, okay, well, they're having a good streak. They're having a good streak. I was always really excited when you would get a new character unlock in a Namco game specifically, because it's usually Namco games that did that, right? I think a few others did as well, but Soulcalibur just unlocking Rock or whoever it was just got me real hyped. I like Blonde Maxie. I don't know, I respect him. It's a bold choice. Sorry, Maxie. We're friends, too. That's the trio, right? It's Maxie, Killick, and Jianhua. Always had trouble saying her name. I had trouble saying a lot of things, to be fair. First time I ever played this version, though, the Dreamcast version, I did rent a Dreamcast back in the day. Could not afford one. I could barely afford N64 cartridges back then. So, yeah, I would rent this. It was this, Street Fighter, Double Impact, the collection, Berserk. And there's this RPG called Silver something. It was like this overhead RPG on the Dreamcast. I rented that. I had no idea what it was or what it was even about. I just rented it because I'm like, fuck it. I'll just get something different. I think it was the only thing that was available that day. But yeah, an entire weekend playing most of these. And just like all the weapon trails and everything, it was like Soulcalibur was immediately more flashy than most other 3D fighters. You know, it's a lot built on Tekken's little flourishes and impacts and such. But just seeing all the weapon trails and stuff, because I never saw Soul Blade anywhere. Oh my god, Killick, that was embarrassing. I never saw Soul Blade in arcades ever. It was a weird thing. So when Soulcalibur was like completely new to me, I think I found out much later. Oh my god. Well, I was talking too much like an idiot. Will Killick get up after this? That was a devastating loss, but like said, I'm pretty sure my soul burns. I think one of the first like action figures, like outside of like, you know, when you're not getting toys for kids and then you're instead like a weeb, a comic book dork, whatever you want to be. I think the first one I had cognitive, like, oh, I'm buying this not because I want to play with it, but just because it looks fucking cool. It was like this really early figure of Mitsurugi. I'd have to find it again, but it was his first player outfit. And there were figures that Todd McFarlane had, but that was a bit later, and that was for Soulcalibur 2 because of the weird Necrid thing that no one remembers at all. And it was this early, like, it wasn't even great, this figure of Mitsurugi. It wasn't that detailed, but I was just like, holy shit, Soulcalibur! That's amazing. I've never seen an action figure of this before in my life. Is that the comic book store that's here in Montreal, that's still there. I don't know, I haven't been since the Panorama started. Captain Quebec. He's a lame superhero. Captain Quebec. So it had it there. That's a big ball sack that Nightmare's wearing on his head. That's terrible. And I had that Mitsurugi figure forever. It got super dusty. It was very desaturated. It wasn't very colorful. I don't know. Like, I can still do it. No, I can't. No, I can't do it. Can't do it. That's fine. It's fucking Nightmare. What am I supposed to say to that? I mean, Inferno's fucking lame. That's one thing about Namco games is that, like, they're very inconsistent with boss designs. Sometimes there'll be something, like, you know, a little lazy that just takes movesets of other characters. Sometimes they'll have ones that are really good. And then they'll have at the bottom of the list, they'll have Jinpachi, you know? I mean, does Inferno look like a Protoss? It does. It looks like those crazy Protosses that are always, like, exploding or dying. I forget. I don't know. It's been years since I thought about StarCraft. So unless this goes to a third round because it's a boss thing, no, he's just going to explode all over me. That effect always looked terrible, no matter what version you played. Those little sparks. It's a little silly. Yeah! Despite losing its physical form, the demonic blade still burned fiercely and prepared to scatter itself throughout the world again. Killick chanted quietly, but with resolve, Vajrahama Killick. The Dabara Yuga that protected him split apart and extinguished the evil flames. It's like the mirrors around his chest. Over the course of many intense battles, Killick mastered the skill to tame the evil within him. That's such a cool shot. Not one to rest on his laurels, Killick subjects himself to more intensive training. A fighting game character who all they do is train. Here at the place where heaven and earth meet, his eyes reflect nothing but the clear of the boundless sky. Look at that. Don't you feel so good? Don't you feel like a big congratulations? You are a true hero. Your legend will never die. But across the horizon, a new quest beckons your soul. Now go, protect our heroes. So that's just playing as Killick. I think I'll mess around in another mode or two, because that went by a lot faster than I thought. What I don't remember is if more characters do unlock, or am I thinking of Soulcalibur 2? Was that it? No, there's others, right? There has to be. That's one thing you have to say about the game is probably it has to be up there for like one of the greatest launch games of all time, just because it was so improved from the arcade version, had all this new shit, it looked amazing. Like it's what sold Dreamcasts in the West. I've never really gotten a sense of how popular Soulcalibur was in Japan. Like, I know Virtua Fighter around the same time was more popular, and Tekken always like kind of there, but below in popularity in Japan specifically. But in the West, it was very different. Anyway, go see the Flophouse Files on Sega Fighting Games for a bit more on that. But for Soulcalibur, I don't know. It must have sold pretty damn well, the Soulcalibur and Soulcalibur 2, but I've always been interested. I never knew the exact story as to why Namco went with PS2 exclusivity for Soulcalibur 3. It never made much sense to me other than Sony just paying them shitloads of money. Because I think the GameCube version actually outsold the other two. Not combined or anything. Oh, what a rousing credit screen. I actually really enjoyed that. Oh, I'll put my real name for realsies this time. Oh shit, that's sick. I don't think I've ever even seen this screen. I'm the first and the coolest. Do we unlock anything in museum? Did we? What is Battle Theater? Is Battle Theater just taking away like the HUD and shit? Like it's dramatic battle? What is Battle Theater? I don't know. Oh my god, it's just watching the CPU. I mean, I guess that's a handy feature sometimes. You need to get footage, whatever. You're too lazy to play, which I am, you know. This feature is handy for anyone that makes lore videos. You can have more dramatic fights. So I wish you could take the HUD off. Maybe you can in the options, though. So we can go to the art gallery. But let's go to mission. We're on Proving Grounds right now. Proving Grounds, while you're in the deepest part of the Himalayas, you are in search of an old man known as Edge Master. He should be on Edgelords one day. A man who has mastered countless times some weaponry, which means he just has everyone's styles. Your goal is to train with this elder before embarking on your search around the world of the legendary sword Soul Edge. You have a hard journey ahead of you. The old man crosses his arms and falls silent in contemplation for a moment, and then begins to give you counsel on how to proceed on your journey. In order to travel the world in search of new battles, you must first prove yourself in battle. Simply attacking the enemy is not always the correct path of achieving victory in battle. You must satisfy the rules of engagement for each contest. Boo! The rules are written at the end of each mission description, colored letters. Be mindful of the rules as you begin your battle. Once you emerge victorious from your battle and earn points, you can select Art Gallery. This is where you do it. I forgot. If you go forth and purchase the art cards, new adventures will come your way. Keep this in mind as you take on new battles. The old man grasps his weapon after dispensing his wisdom to you about your journey ahead. Although this may come as a surprise, I must see for myself if your fighting skills are worthy. Oh, have no fear. All I ask is for you to defend yourself from my attacks. Remember, you'll be injured gravely if you fail to defend yourself. You must use a guard move to protect yourself against enemies' attacks, blah, blah, blah. So just guard it up. Let's do it. I have 60 points, though, before we go any further. What's a really expensive Tale Begins prologue? Whatever. Let's just get the first one. Buy it. And I can afford it. Why not? Buy new special art. Okay. Neat. 20 points. No. So, actually, are these? Oh, that's Bishy Cervantes. Everyone loves him. I can look at it. That's about it. Prologue, Chapter 1. The Dread Pirate Roberts, Captain Cervantes, and his ship, the Adrian, struck fear throughout the entire Atlantic during his reign of terror. It all began when Cervantes obtained the evil twin sword Soul Edge. Under its demonic influence, Cervantes slew his entire crew. That's rough. And those unfortunate enough to be in a nearby Spanish port town. With Soul Edge's twisted desires temporarily satiated with the feast of souls provided by the bloody massacre, Cervantes and Soul Edge just decided to vibe, and the Blacktail Inn to enter a long sleep in preparation for the birth of the child of the evil sword. Cool. And here's that Soulcalibur anime that never came out. There's Rock up there. I'd like to play as Rock. Prologue Chapter 2. Over the course of the next 20 years, tales of the evil sword spread throughout the world, and the truth about them was distorted. It was considered by some as the sword of salvation, or even the ultimate weapon by others. And then there were those that destined to seek Soul Edge for their own personal ends. We call those heroes, folks. Let's skip a little bit and just get this one. It's Sophia just going nuts, I guess. However, there's one woman who defied this fate. She was the sacred warrior Sophia, sent by a divine oracle from Hephaestus, the god of fire and smithery. She succeeded in shattering one of the evil swords while engaged in a fierce battle to the death with Pirate Cervantes. So I think that's like the ending of Soul Blade. I think, perhaps? Interesting. Kind of forgotten about this stuff, in all honesty. It's pretty cool that there's a bunch of lore just thrown in there. So I can get some CG portraits if I must. I cannot afford it. They're all very expensive, these CG portraits. So how we've gone this long without there actually being any type of Soulcalibur collection that includes like Soul Blade, all of them. I'm not even asking for online. They should have online. The fact we still don't have something like that is kind of a crime. I don't know. Can someone sue Namco for that? That's a little much. But, you know, for the series that's so prolific, it's had so many great entries and, like, pretty important in the realm of fighting games, you'd think that would have been there, you know, a while ago, and maybe even spin it off as some type of action game, like, I don't know, that uses motion controls. But I'm not going to be playing that anytime soon. Anyway, that is Soulcalibur on the. I was about to say Soulcalibur 2. That was Soulcalibur on the Dreamcast. Still very fun. Still awesome. Just, you know, of course, a lot less features than Soulcalibur games have nowadays, but there's just something so pure, unadulterated arcade fun with this one. Any other Soulcalibur games that are not Soulcalibur Legends for the Wii you'd like me to play? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see if my soul can still burn.